What do you mean you don't know what to do?
Phil, I've already covered the Friendsim Purple Bloods. Twice, technically. I don't think I can justify making another Fridgestuck-style video on them.
What about the Violet Trolls and Trizza?
Oh, you mean the girls that are next to not there at all in the series so far? That video would be 5 minutes long, maximum. I don't know, man. I think the Friendsim train is gonna take a break for a while. At least until Act 3 comes out.
What will you do in the meantime?
I'll think of something. I always do. Anyway, let's get this train to the station. We're covering the big, the beautiful, the Indigos. Amicia Erden's first name could be a shortening of Artemisia Gentileschi, a 17th century Italian painting prodigy who produced professional-level work by age 15. She typically depicted strong women from mythology or from biblical tales. One of Gentileschi's more famous paintings, Judas slaying Holofernes, depicts a person being beheaded, and Amicia is known for beheading trolls with her axe. The anagram for headsman can even be seen in her name. Amicia is also the Latin name for Ems, a river in the northwest of Germany. The connection to Germany continues as Erden could come from the German verb to electrically ground something. I personally put more stock in the former references, considering the connections to art. Her placeholder name was even Art Enthusiast. Unlike her namesake, Amicia is not a good artist, as her troll call suggests. She also ditches the MSPA reader early in her route if they mention that they are also an artist, showing that she suffers from some kind of inferiority complex around her art skills. Her current Hiveswap troll call text states that she has had art block for 5 sweeps. If this is hinting at her actual age, Amicia is possibly the youngest troll we've met in Friendsim, making her around 10 years old. Maybe she's the youngest? It really depends how old Karako is. Her troll call card also says that she's looking for a muse. This links with her Friendsim story, considering that her last muse, the MSPA reader, escaped her art studio after her route. Being a stereotypical indigo blood, Amicia has a lot of strength, even for a tiny girl, able to lift a heavy axe almost as tall as she is. Her symbol smock is splattered with blood colors, cerulean and down, from trolls she's killed, as she makes paint using the many hues. This might explain why Amicia is best friends with Chal Maynad, a pious purple blood with a hobby of scrapbooking her kills. Amicia's sign is Sagira, sign of the Tenable, making her a potential prospect dreamer and a hero of mind, like the equally gremlin-like Terezi Pyrope. As for other appearances, Amicia is alluded to by Ramel Namak during her good ending, stating that the younger indigo girl might be onto something about using blood as a medium. I guess blood painting was not a common thing on Alternia in the 90s? Go figure. Amicia also appears at the start of Chal Maynad's route, as well as throughout the entirety of her bad ending, where she beheads a bronze blood the pair have captured in a rope trap. She also appears at the start of Nike Mula's route, revealing she's also a fan of wrestling, aka muscular theater. Amicia also appears in Hiveswap Act 2 on the Indigo section of the blue train car, only allowing Joey Claire and Zephyros Trito to move on to the next car if they show her an art piece. For this trial, you can either get help from Ramel Namak or Tagora Gorjak, each with its own achievement. If she's allowing others to show her their artwork, I guess she got over her inferiority complex. Good for her. This guy. Okay. Zebra Kodak's first name comes from zebra, like his Lucis, using its English pronunciation, zebra. Its spelling could also be a reference to bruh, a slang form of bro that is typically used to convey frustration or disappointment. Like how I feel all the time around this guy. His cast name Kodak is possibly a reference to Kodak, a camera company that's been around since 1892. black and white photos, just like his Lucis. The way it's spelled could be a reference to Dresden Kodak, a webcomic whose creator has been criticized for masking a desire to draw sexy characters as social justice promotion. Sounds familiar? Though Zebra's wheelhouse is in music and not comics. Zebra's name and personality could also be a callback to Barney Stinson from the TV show How I Met Your Mother, as he's considered the inventor of the phrase bro code. Affluent with a fondness for suits, Barney is a manipulative player, labeled as a high-functioning sociopath by his best friend Ted, and being utterly devoid of morality by the early show. Like Barney, Zebra is also an opportunist, specifically around music talents, so it's no wonder his placeholder name was Groupie. His fondness for music links to Zebra's career, as he runs a blog reviewing music albums and concerts. Though his opinions are not popular with everyone, especially with the talents themselves, he still has amassed a large following. Zebra's personality is his Achilles heel. Despite labeling himself as a low-blood ally, he tends to treat them like trash, shouting at the MSPA reader during his bad ending, and presumably doing worse to his live-in servants, considering how they react to his mere presence. Later in Pester Quest, the MSPA reader mentions that Eridan Ampera in particular is giving off Zebra vibes, and that speaks volumes. Zebra's sign is Sagittino, sign of the penitent, making him a potential Prospect dreamer and a hero of doom. Penitent he is not, as the egotist has a sense of entitlement the size of a whale. Though being linked to the doom aspect certainly explains a few things, like how Zebra is one of the few trolls to non-canonically die in FriendSim, and he is the only one to die in someone else's route. Speaking of other appearances, Zebra is alluded to by Ramel on her route, as she mentions a blue blood who only commissions her to draw low bloods in quadrants with other low bloods, and she charges him 5 times the usual rate for it. He later shows up in Chixie Roymer's route, causing the bad end and buying the nightclub if he learns about Chixie being cut from her time slot. Zebra's last appearance in FriendSim is in Marvis Sholoto's route, wanting to use the reader to force an introduction between himself and the Purple Blood rapper. Depending on the ending, Zebra either is brutally murdered in front of the reader's eyes, or, in the good ending, is referred to as a parasite by the clown maestro himself, revealing that Zebra is blacklisted by all Purple Blood rappers. Ouch. This verbal onslaught continues in Hiveswap Act 2, as Marvis and Zebra both appear on the same train platform. Marvis calls him Zebra Nodek. Unable to get tickets of their own, Joey and Zephyros can make a bargain with the Indigo Blood to get his ticket in exchange for Marvis's musical mentorship and Zephyros' microphone. However, while talking Zebra into giving up his ticket keeps the player from having to see his punchable face later on the train, this also blocks them from the missable achievement, First Class, which can only be unlocked by talking to every troll in the blue Indigo car. Sometimes you gotta suffer for that gamer cred. From worst boy to husbando! Galak Sigassi's first name translates directly from Yiddish as priest, and the word leak is the Hindi word for paper, document, scripture, and discourse, a possible reference to Galak's love of books and other information. I was dumbfounded, guys, when I realized that his last name could be pronounced differently. During my research, I found that some of the fanbase call him Galak Exegesi. This could possibly be a reference to exegesis, the critical interpretation of a text, typically for religious scriptures like the Bible. One of my favorite words, exegesis, is vitally important to the study of ancient texts, because it focuses on what the text meant in its original context, and not interpreting things to fit a modern worldview. Things like what genre the book is in, what the culture was like during the time of its writing, and what the writing style of the era was like, are all examples of exegesis. While I appreciate the reference, I also really hate that pronunciation, and I will continue to pronounce Gallic's last name for the remainder of this video as Sigissi. With this pronunciation, Gallic's full name could be a play on the word galaxy. The Greek root word gala refers to milk, and why the English-speaking parts of the world refer to our own galaxy as the Milky Way. Heh, gotta include milk somewhere in the Indigo video. According to his Troll Call and Friendsim promos, Gallic knows too much and never stops talking. On top of this, the reference to the citation needed meme all centers around Gallic's overly wordy nature and highbrow personality. This includes his typing quirk, where he speaks with footnotes to add more info. How does that even work with spoken word? This priority of his to be seen as knowledgeable and serious is one of the main reasons this Indigo boy reaches out to the reader in the first place. Gallic is the only troll who appears before his official introduction. In Volume 4, Tagora Gorjek is approached by an unnamed Indigo troll, who flees in fear, assuming the MSPA reader is a rainbow drinker. In Gallic's route, the reader reveals this blue blood and Gallic to be one and the same. While initially seeking the reader in order to set the record straight for his earlier ignorance, he also has plenty of curious questions about the reader, and secretly wants advice for catching the disgust of his Black Rom crush, Tagora. Later on, it's revealed that the two trolls are hate dating. As for skills, Gallic mentions in a footnote that he's writing a book, but never reveals the genre. He also designed his own tattoo, apparently keeping a journal full of artistic sketches. While a bit pretentious, Gallic acts civil and has a healthy level of privacy. While the reader often has to look beyond the surface-level conversation to find out what he really wants, Gallic proves to be very hospitable to guests, no matter their blood color or species. Gallic's sign is Saggicer, sign of the hostess. Told you he was hospitable. Being a Saggicer makes Gallic a potential prospect dreamer and a hero of blood, like Karkat Vantis. Certainly explains the over-talkative yet secretive nature. Besides Volume 4's preview, Gallic also makes an appearance in Volume 14 for Martzdi Hotek's second bad ending, preparing to confront the reader for foolishly breaking into his house and releasing his book-eating goat Lucis into his library. He naturally appears in Hiveswap Act 2 in the Indigo compartment. His sense of civility almost comes off as protective, as he refuses to let Joey and Zephyros pass into the next train car if there's even the slightest chance of offending the Purple Bloods. Whether he's protecting the High Blood sensibilities or our heroes' lives is up to interpretation. He demands the two show how cultured they are by bringing him a book or document that pleases his intellect. This literature is obtained through the help of a Cerulean blood, Malik Adilov, who, as a natural rebel, provides a text with a subversive take on Alternia and its culture at large. Surprisingly, Gallic is impressed and receptive to the controversial material. Blood aspects, am I right? Or, if Alternian politics are not your thing, you can reach an alternate achievement by showing Gallic the Soldier Purbeast book, gifted to you by Wanshi should you reach the mistrial ending in the Jade Teal car. The pronunciation of Nike Mula's first name is up for debate. Not even Homestuck musician James Roach was sure, as the title for the Indigo Trolls theme song was changed from LMAO, I still don't know if it's Nike or Nike like the shoe, not like the name Mike, to turns out it's like the shoe on the Hiveswap Friendsim album. The shoe company Nike was named after Nike, the Greek goddess of victory. Her name literally translates to victory, possibly deriving from the early Greek word for fight or strife, fitting Troll Nike's wrestling obsession. That said, Roach's remark was not forgotten, as when mentioning her to Tagora in Hiveswap Act 2, Joey calls the Indigo blood Nikki. What is truth? Her cast name, Mula, is American slang for money. It could also be a reference to the famous women's wrestler, Fabulous Moolah, which is reflected in Nike's passion for muscular theater. Also cows. Nike's Troll Call was one of the few ones to remain unchanged between 2017 and 2018. Active in muscular theater, lost a leg but gained the upper hand, and subcultural gatekeeper. That last one is literal. Nike takes wrestling seriously and has no time or patience for those who don't. However, it's shown that if anyone attempts to put in the effort to learn, Nike welcomes them with open arms and with the pride and spirit of a mentor. Nike is the living embodiment of memes, as her habit of saying sister when referring to others is likely a reference to wrestler Hulk Hogan's similar tendency of saying brother. And if you were to look at the art assets in FriendSim's files, one of Nike's sprites is labeled Odd Flex But Okay, in reference to a similar popular phrase. Nike's sign is Sagicorn, sign of the wild, making her a potential prospect dreamer and a hero of rage, just like the superhuman and equally vengeful Gamzee Makara. Her only other appearance is in Hiveswap Act 2, on the Indigo section of the train. She naturally joins in with the rest of her castmates in the testing of Joey and Zephyros, with her focus on muscular theater. Joey obtains a costume from L-Word and challenges the wrestler. Joey obviously loses immediately, but because she appreciated the enthusiasm, Nike gives her approval, finally opening the way for Joey and Zephyros to move on to the Purple Blood car. And that's all the fridge facts I have for the indigo-blooded trolls of FriendSim. I hope you enjoyed. There are probably headcanons aplenty out there, so you'll have to forgive me if I missed one or didn't think to include it. Our FriendSim fridge train has taken a little bit of a pit stop because, well, we're still waiting for Act 3 to come out, but I hope to see you all for the next one when it does return. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye! Zebra, why are you like this? Why? Why?
Hey there. Consider becoming a patron, just like the phenomenal Bleed Red and Alexandra Modelon.